Yeah, so we were talking about the counters, and
Yes.
I was just going to say that I agree that it would be better to have like specific counters for each thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
if we can do that by limiting the number of resources in play, I think we can do that just by abstracting. So rather than being like, aluminium, steel, copper, just metals,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it might be that you want to, if we think ahead for what those resources were going to be, it would help the engineers coming up with the examples of it. So if we were to take something that was fossil fuels or sustainable wood, then when you're coming up with the scenarios of them, what generates it, then it makes them, you could come up with a couple of examples that both generate a sustainable wood or a sustainable product.
Okay, so so we've got all the players with the business board. They've got these counters. They can dip into the generic pot of markers, and the finance tokens exist and so on. So we shuffle the CEO deck, which is this thing here. Doesn't need to be on there. Shuffle, 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 and each person would pick one of these. All right.
So do they pick them blind or do they choose read it?
So they get dealt 3 and then they pick 1.
Okay, yeah. So
they
it says
choose whether to be an altruistic or a
choose one
money
of those.
grabbing.
Choose one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, have we got money grabbers?
We do. We've got venture capitalists.
Well done. Right.
I'm going to be a growth focused. And it may be worth.
Yes, but that's on your business board.
Oh, that goes on mine.
Yeah, and so you need under employment there would be an employee. There'd be a CEO slot on that. Yeah, you got
at
it.
the top or the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. You might want to check the business studies.
Yeah.
The terminology.
Yeah.
Of what they have used them. I know what a growth focus is,
exactly.
but if you use the same terminology as the GCSE business studies.
Yeah,
but the cards would have like flavor text on them to kind of explain what the thing is as well. So that's an educational aspect, that's in there.
Yes, but if we can, as much as we can, if we can reinforce other topics.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I usually do when I'm doing STEM is remind them that this links to lots of their other lessons, not just physics or not just engineering.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the victory condition. So that this is for the whole, for everyone. Somebody would pick one of these out and put it up there. And then somebody would pick another one and not look at it.
So do they pick them blind or are they dealt?
I think so. Originally, I was going to say pick them blind, but what you were saying about, having people, having people who kind of young women who picked, oh, we want to work towards gender equality, could do it in the same way. So the second one has to be blind, but the first one could be semi-randomized. So you draw 3 and pick 1.
Or you may choose to do them themed by the SDG goals. So one's about the environment, one's about social aspect, one's about governance, or a couple of them. So color code them, and then you get to choose between red, blue, and green. So you've chosen which area of the SDGs you are going to focus on.
Yeah.
Are we going to work towards improving the environment or improving diversity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more or less what happened with the groups we were doing with our Sustain Labs.
Yeah.
They had somebody like you come in who would, and they could look at that and think, oh, she'd be useful. for if we were doing biodiversity or if we were doing energy, but actually we all want to do equality. Yes, and she was quite useful anyway.
So having something that doesn't produce pollution is actually of no value for diversity.
And that's nice, Lawrence, because there's an element of buy-in rather than sorting hat. You know, I've ended up in Slytherin sort of problem.
Yeah. I think the I think the victory conditions are going to need balancing from playtesting, because like currently the example ones are sort of based off of there's like an element of random chance to whether you actually meet them or not, and I think that's probably needs to be reduced, because generally speaking you don't necessarily want randomization in that particular aspect, but that's something for me to worry about after I play test this.
Yeah,
Don't
so
worry too much.
in terms of the play testing as well, Lawrence, so are we testing it with young people who wouldn't ordinarily play games?
Well, I think that's probably something that Hugh can answer a bit better, because I assume he'll be organizing like playtest groups.
Yeah. So at what point are we doing that? How?
It's on the schedule there. Yeah, we've got until September to complete.
But at what point in the game development are we?
But as once we've got like a draft deck blocked in, basically we can start playtesting. Like the problem at the moment is that we've got the broad strokes of how the game works. We just need to populate the decks with mechanics.
Yeah, the learning blocks for people looking at the rules mean that they're not populating it as fast as we could. But obviously, once we get this sorted, once we have a little kind of video of how it works, people will grasp it. It might be that we use the simulator thing earlier just to create a video. I don't know. We'll talk about that ourselves. Let's just keep going through the game. Let's just keep going through the game.
With just a small number of each card type, rather than generating loads of them and then the kids coming in and saying, actually, you could do this.
Sure. I mean, I think you need like you kind of need a fully populated deck to play test with, because you need that information to be able to balance like the random like chances. Like if you have a limited pool deck, then that limits the accuracy of the play test.
And I was thinking, if we did it with people who were conversant with it, we could have blank cards that people say, well, actually, I've drawn this. It would be good if this did so and so, and they scribble on it and stick it in, and so I'm getting some more points here, and then we'd have to decide what it is that got them more points, more counters, more research. But that, in order for the mechanics to work, somebody did need more mechanics. Like in my previous game, it was really difficult to get citizenship points, and so we just added more citizenship cards into the deck. Anyway. Got a short amount of time left. We got the sequence of play. You've got six rounds, which I believe means 36. If there are 6 people playing it, that would be 36 player actions, player turns. That's correct, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so each player has a turn, and we're going to roll the die.
You don't. Why?
Well, it says set the round die to 1. I get you saying, yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. The die is just a round marker, basically.
Yeah.
So
that
confuses things.
Yes.
I just have a slider.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That was also on the card on a possibility, but I just put a die just for the.
Yeah, I got it. Sliders are obviously more expensive than.
Or move.
Well, it doesn't have to be a slider. You just put markers on the board, and then you put a token on them.
On the board.
Yeah. When the player turn starts, the following sequence occurs. Player gains 2 finance. So there'd be 2 of something or other would come onto their deck. Yeah, so come onto the deck. So that's kind of just a given. The active player, right? So what I'm wondering is, all they've got on their board is the CEO.
Yeah.
How do they get cards on their board?
Well, they've got to they've got to buy them from the
Right.
main deck or hire people from the employee deck. So probably because everyone's got 1 slot by default, so you don't necessarily need to hire people right away, and you probably shouldn't, because then you've got to pay their wages. So to begin with, like, you just got to start adding like cards to your main deck, to your business board. So you'll put cards from the main deck into the marketplace, and then they can use the finance they've got to buy something.
Setting up the game, should you put 3 cards down on the main deck, so that the first person actually has something to choose from?
Yeah, that's in the, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's in the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. So they would start taking these and these. These would be available to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shuffle the thing. Right. Okay, so the negative cards I've put in here, which I shouldn't have done. They should be elsewhere.
So if you think of Game of Life, you then choose whether you go to college or don't,
Yeah, that's it.
and that you're effectively, as your business, running your business, choosing which employee to recruit.
Okay.
So Lawrence, is it that the first round, they are encouraged to get something from the main deck and an employee?
So they should probably only start hiring employees once they start needing more slots in their business, right? Because the thing the employees get you is extra slots where you can put permanent, continuous cards in, and they'll start with 1 slot in each area to begin with. So they probably won't need to hire anyone in the first round, but that'll probably be a 2nd or 3rd round thing that I'll have to start doing.
You probably need to put that in the rules, that in the first round they can only choose from the main deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, could do. Yeah.
Well, it could be. I mean, it's a huge mistake, isn't it?
And
Yeah, like I think
but you would explain. So if I was going in as a STEM ambassador, I would explain to them that
that's
you're
it.
there as the resource. You start your business,
Yeah.
and not until you've got a bit of a business
Yeah.
can you then start to employ somebody, because you've got to pay their wages.
Yeah, but if you're going to make a major mistake, it's to employ people with no idea why.
Yes.
So I think that's
But you might get the wrong resource.
Yeah, but you could employ somebody who's a genius. There is within the creative industries that there's a thing. I don't know what we're going to do, but I want to work with him, and that's the opposite of engineering. You wouldn't do that. Yeah, but you might do, because
you need to know what.
Yeah, so there could be a random card that you don't want to miss. You know, a bit like you've landed on something, but you haven't got enough money to buy it. In Monopoly, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm picking up. So if I'm going to get an engineering card, is that going to come from the main deck?
Yeah.
Or the advanced deck later?
The main deck.
Yeah. So my engineering card, my staff card. So my finance, the money cards, where do they come from? The main deck as well.
Yeah. So basically, the main deck and the advanced deck have exactly the same type of cards in them.
Yeah.
The ones in the advanced deck are just better but more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do we think? What are engineering cards?
I mean, I'd probably, I'm not being an engineer. I'm just, from my perspective, I would basically put in, that's like machines, factories, processes, like refining, resource gathering, that kind of thing. So I'd probably put it to be like That's what that is. Finance is like, you know, like shops and and uh, uh, like
Grants.
These are resources.
yeah, exactly, yeah, like grants, research programs, you know, like things that require capital or generate capital.
Okay.
And then for management, it would be sort of like internal, like business, like structure of the business and personnel, HR, or like policies. So things like we were talking earlier about, you know, no patents, you know, and that might be like a thing that goes in management.
Yes, because we had a discussion about, well, okay, so your business is getting bigger and you've got no financial management, you've got no HR. And I discussed this with some guy who's one of those people that doesn't actually run a business but knows how they run. So he says, and he just said, oh, you wouldn't get HR. You don't need them. You just buy into a
Buy into a consultant.
buy into a consultant in Birmingham when you live in Bristol, and I did that, and it did not work. So having people who understand things on working with you for a large organization is probably cost effective. So so representing the size of employees, but would you go up to the size of a Rolls-Royce, you know, 4,000 employees, 5,000 employees?
I think the employees are kind of an abstract representation of like a full employee base, you know, so you would still only ever have like one employee in each slot. But you know, they kind of represent, I mean, you could not have them be, if you wanted to be more abstract, you could have them not be individuals, but just, you know, workforces. So it's like, you know, small workforce or consultant workforce or you know, expert, you know, massive, you know, whatever. That really is just a matter of theming, I think.
But they would be in the advanced deck. Trudy's just said department, so you could have in the advanced deck expand communications department, expand research department.
Yeah? Yes, yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so the game is played. We're not going to play it through.
Yeah.
When do the event deck? So the event deck?
So the event deck triggers at the start of each round.
Yeah.
So the start of each round, you draw so many event cards, and how many event cards that is really something that I'm only going to know for sure until it's play tested. So as an example, I said, you know, half, you know, there'd probably be a tracker for this on the board, you know, just a little thing that you move the counter up. It would be like, so one event per round on the first and second round, and then 1, 2 on the third and fourth, and then 3 on the fifth and sixth. Although you might well need more. Like I said, it needs play testing.
So the event, just to be clear, is the event is picked from one.
No, the event is just dealt from the top of the event deck.
Okay, right.
So
Thanks,
like
Trudy.
that.
Yeah.
And it's my turn now. So the first
These are
thing that
events as well.
happens, they're all in. And the first thing that happens is I think of the event as the external context. So the budget's just run.
Yeah.
What
are we going to do about that?
We've now all been taxed.
Exactly.
I choose how to run my business given that context. And it might be I was second and Polly's card had been turned for the event that said, you know, we're all in Hong Kong and we've got lenient taxes, but Brexit's occurred and we've now got different penalties or whatever.
Yeah.
So we might have 2 situations running at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that was what you were saying, Lawrence, is
I understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
seen some of these as being continuous.
Yeah, that's right.
Some of them are short term, long term. There's some duty relief, but only for the next 3 months. Everybody rushes to buy houses, but after 3 months, that goes away.
Yeah.
How do we manage that? How is that? Do they just?
You almost need somebody to be banker in
Yes.
monopoly terms
Yeah.
that checks at the start of each
Yeah,
turn, when
that's
you
right.
move the
We've done that in
rounds,
Village, haven't we?
you then confirm that have we gone three, some of the cards say, for three turns, do this, or
Yeah.
for one complete round, do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody needs to be in control of that.
Yeah.
I'm really aware of the time.
No,
because
we're
it's
going to finish.
absolute
We're going to
time,
finish
yeah.
on time.
We are on time now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's half past. This has been really useful.
Yeah.
Lawrence, has it been
Yeah.
useful?
Yep.
And I think Phil was listening in, enjoying it. So Phil and Rain, has it been useful?
Yeah, very good, very informative. Okay.
Yes, no, it's been very useful for me. So Lawrence, you and I will catch up as usual. Are we okay, Trudy? Or
Yes, I need
has it
to
become clearer?
disappear, but
Yeah.
it makes a lot more sense now, having
Brilliant.
seen it and almost played it.
Yeah. We're on
Are you saying you've won, Trudy?
it.
This isn't about winning or losing, this is about
Collaborate.
achieving goals, cooperating and achieving
Cooperation.
goals.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So thanks, everybody.